Hello everyone. Let me get a few people on here. I hope all of you are having a good night. I know I'm late, sir. A little late tonight, but that's okay. You know, my posse normally stays up late like I do, which is good. We're all night owls. I always tell you that corruption never sleeps. Remember that. Corruption never sleeps. Um, how are you doing? Hi Mark. Hi Jesse. Hi Steven. Getting a few people on here. We're going to talk about a few things. I've had a lot of people asking questions today about yesterday. We talked about Child Protective Service business being a private business, and we're going to continue to expose and explain to you what's going on. And I just the corruption is there, and I feel like if I don't come and talk to you about it, that what Martin Luther King said to us is our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. And Martin Luther King is correct on that our lives begin to end when we become silent about the things that matter. And if we cannot talk about our children who matter, that's like the biggest thing in our lives are our children. And if we can't talk about the corruption and what is going on with our children, we've got some serious problems. Your lives begin to end. And I think that's what we've been seeing. I think that was what these people wanted, is they wanted to destroy the family dynamics so that they could destroy the country that you and I think that we live in. And so, first of all, we're going to talk about yesterday. I told you that Child Protective Services is a private membership business, and I gave you the done and numbers on there. I can give those to y'all again. I can post them on my page, and just want to let you know that they do not have the rights to do what they're doing with your children, and we're going to continue to teach you on how to get your children back and what to do. But your children are a hot commodity in this state of Arkansas, and in all the other states that I'm hearing from. I mean, y'all wouldn't believe it. I mean, I'm hearing from Florida, Texas, Ohio. I mean, people are calling me all the time. Last night I was on the phone until 2 or 3 o'clock this morning. I'm so many calls behind. I apologize for that. Trying to catch up with everyone, but we're going to get these kids back home, but we cannot do it the way that we thought we needed to do it, because all these things are not as they appear. Remember, I told you it's like a movie theater. You go in and we're all being played, and so we're going to continue to expose to you what's going on. So, Hosea 4:6 says that my people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. Because you have rejected knowledge, I reject you from being a priest to me. And since you have forgotten the law of your God, I also will forget your children. So the Bible clearly tells us that my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. And I think that's what we see happening, is that a lot goes on because we are destroyed by the lack of knowledge of what we think is what our government says, and it's not as it appears. And so many of us have not known what our rights are. Some of us do not even know what your constitutional rights, what your human rights are, your God-given rights are to you. And I always say to you that if you do not know what your rights are, then how do you know what's being taken away from you? And so, we've been fighting this the foster care epidemic, and 89% of the foster care children in the state of Arkansas are in there. The system says that they should not be in there. There's not true abuse allegations. 89% of children. So if you got the number, my question is to these people are, why are they not going home? If you know how many of these kids are, I mean, shut down the buses, get the buses on Saturdays from all the schools, and let's take these kids home. But that would just, be too easy, wouldn't it? Because as long as they have them in your system and these parents have to continue to fight for these children, you continue to make money on them. You do not make money on children if they're in their parents' homes. They're not, um, they don't funnel you. And the foster care business is, I could use that, Stephen, actually, um, is $100 billion industry. I mean, $100 billion industry on our kids, people. And so, I kind of want to, we're going to, some information we're going to have to carry. I'm going to read these things to you. So, the National Council of Juvenile and Family Court Judges. Y'all know who those are, don't you? If you're familiar with the foster care system, you know who that is. That is a membership organization of courts handling abuse, neglect. And so I've started researching. They are a 501c3 business. So why would the National Council of Juvenile and Family Court Judges be a membership? And why why do they have a membership of 33,000 people? And this covers your police, your judges, your child protective services are all under this membership, which for me, that's kind of a conflict of interest. I mean, it's a serious conflict of interest, but so this is not these court systems are not a part of your judicial branch. They are paying dues, okay? I'm telling you, this is just insane. So this organization is 33,000 members. And so I started looking at them. You know me, I always tell y'all follow the money. And so I started going to their page. You can go to their Facebook page. Now, National Council of Juvenile and Family Court Judges. They, have their little pictures, and they, you can even recommend them. I would recommend them. And so then I went to, get this, they have the original juvenile delinquency guidelines, okay, which has just been updated, which David was telling me that Sessions had just told them that you cannot use the guidelines. That's not the law of the land. The law of the land is what we use, not guidelines, not statutes. I mean, this is what these people are doing. And they're not even real judges. This is all a fake system, And so, this is what I was thinking about this morning. And when I would call attorneys when I was going through my situation with my ex-husband, do you know, like, the first thing they would say to me is, what is his name? They would make sure that they had not seen him before as a client, so it would not be a conflict of interest. So if I'm the victim, or you need representation, and the lawyer cannot even speak to you, or they don't want to handle your case if they handled the other party because it's a conflict of interest. But we can have child protective services, the police, the judges, we can have them all in this little organization where they're paying all these fees. And is that not a conflict of interest for you, for your children? I mean, come on. This is a conflict of interest. This is, this is a fake. This is a scam. It's a money pyramid. I mean, oh my gosh. And so then they had a conference because now I'm on a mission to follow the money. I'm going to find out who these people are, where is this coming from, and I go to this place they had in California, San Diego, California, of March 18th, 2018. And so the National NCJFCJ, they had this conference in San Diego, and this is what it was saying in their PDF file. I downloaded it. I can share that with y'all also. Some of the featured topics will include alternatives to detention, trauma-informed justice, crossover youth, deep end youth, teen dating violence, ending solitary confinement. All right, y'all are going to end that solitary confinement because you make money off of these private jails. I mean, the United States, I think, is like third, it may be first in if someone has that number, give it to me. Um, but the United States on confinement is, we're one of the, we put people in jail here. In jail, remember that. I mean, it's a business situation where the government makes money having these people in jail. And so they're saying they're ending the solitary confinement. No, they're not. I had a parent the other day that was at our Capitol event, was in jail, and he had been put in jail for 4 years, should have never been there. He still doesn't have his kids. He's innocent, but guess what? His kids had been returned to him. And so they have domestic sex trafficking of minors. They were going to work on anti-shackling alternatives, racial and ethnic issues, school pathways to the justice system. And this is where it got my attention, okay? So it said brain science, child development, mental health, juvenile and family treatment drug courts, LGBTQ issues in the juvenile justice system, and unaccompanied minors in the immigration system, okay? And so I was like, okay, so this business, this membership organization is saying that they're going to study all of this. Thank you, Brianna. We're number one in the world for incarceration. There you go. But this fake judges are working on ending solitary confinement. Okay. So then, y'all know me. You give me a blood trail, I'm going to go for it. So, the main sponsor of this event is IBM Watson Health. Now, I'm going to give you the other sponsors, but we're fixing to go back to that one. So, the exhibiting sponsors were Advantages School International and Interstate Commission for Juveniles, okay? Established 2008. If you look at the Advantage School International, you'll see their logo. If you start digging, you'll start seeing these logos that they use for this information. And so they had an early bird fee, a standard fee, a late on. And so their existing members, they paid anywhere from $595 to $795 to attend, to go to their fake courts, to incarcerate you, to learn how to deceive you, how to learn to teach you to be afraid. And so you can actually be a non-member. Man, me and David need to come up with like $990 next year, and we'll just go to this event. And so then I saw IBM Watson Health, and I was like, I know that name. I know that name. How do I know this name? And then I remembered I had watched a documentary with IBM Watson Health because, I'm member with issue one, but with my veterans, I watch with my veterans, like the Virginia Tech shooting. That person was involved with DARPA, and you really need to look at DARPA if you want to look at government mind control with our veterans, with you. But DARPA is a really good program to look at. But they were doing that with our veterans, and so I've studied a lot of these things. And so IBM Watson Health, IBM WATSON Health, okay? And so I'm like, I know this company. How do I know this company? And then I was like, I know it. It's artificial intelligence. IBM is, remember they just laid off the engineers because they were saying that the artificial profit is failing. Remember this? And so they had laid off a few engineers in May, but in 2015 they were working on artificial intelligence. Okay, am I the only one that's a little alarmed that IBM Watson Health, who is working very hard on artificial intelligence, is hosting? They're the main sponsor of this event for National Council of Juvenile and Family Court. I mean, are you kidding me? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. That does not make sense to me. I mean, if you really dig into the government, you can see the powerful and big pharmacy and the medical industry. I mean, there was a meeting they had. They had all of these senators. They were in this meeting, and the medical device company, and they said that everyone in that room alone was more powerful than anyone out there in the world. You and I mean, these people think that their money in their pocket is how they can control us. And what they count on is your ignorance. They count on us not having the knowledge. They don't want you to have the knowledge to fight them. I mean, remember what I said to you, that the Bible clearly says in Hosea 4:6, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. And because you have rejected knowledge, look what has happened. And so I was like, that does not make sense that we have a National Council of Juvenile and Family Courts judges would be hosted by IBM Watson Health. That does not make any sense. I mean, come on. Are we really, So we have got to figure out what is all these connections here. And I have a feeling once we do this, we're going to, well, here you go. They're worth, it's Jenny Romanty. She's worth her net amount is worth 45 million. Oh yeah, I can see why she'd be so really, okay. They purchased Red Hat for 34 billion. Y'all need to do some research on this. The Red Hat, this is just crazy, y'all. And I'm giving you information. I'm sorry I'm not always looking at it because I can't memorize all of this. Give me another day or two, and then I'll be able to memorize and tell all of you exactly what this is. And so, when you you start looking at all these things, and why would though this membership group, these fake people who have a membership of 33,000 people, be hosting and the main sponsor of this event, and they are working with artificial intelligence, and that just doesn't make any sense to me. Why would someone with artificial intelligence want to be talking to our judges, our child protective services, what can they tell them? What can they tell them? This is not how you fix a system. It's so sickening how deep this goes. I mean, you look at your child protective services, you look at these things, and then you can kind of tie them into Save the Children. They don't care about saving the children. I can tell you that right now. They do not care about saving the children. And you can even look at Save the Children, with the Haiti problem with the Clinton Foundation. This is nothing but, this is how it really probably should read, okay? This is some of the future topics we'll include. This is how I would write it if I was them, okay? Because the truth should how it should be. It should be, we're coming up with more programs for detention. We are going to continue with our trauma-informed justice system on families and parents, because when we continue to do trauma, we continue to break the family, and therefore they're going to not fight us. Crossover youth, deep in youth, teen dating violence. Okay, let's talk about the senators and the House having that fund that when they sexually assault someone and they do these things, then they get to pay with our tax dollars their settlement. So yeah, you're really worried about violence, teen dating violence. I mean, y'all can attack people, women or men. You can sexually harass them, and then you have the taxpayers pay the people to shut up. Ending solitary confinement. Nope. We're number one in the U.S. They try to make laws. They believe that you have these laws on you so they can imprison you. That's the way they want to, do. Domestic sex trafficking of minors. this whole system is the biggest. It's the train for taking your children away and sex traffic them. That's what they're doing. And, so it probably was trophies given to the top judges who possibly helped sex traffic these kids, anti shackling alternatives. They probably are going to come up with maybe a caller now on parents, like if you try to say that's my kid, it'll shock you. What are they going to come up with? These people are unreal. So you can go to this page. I'm going to, oh, and it was sold out, by the way. And they sold out on this event. I don't know how many people were able to go. And they make reservations, these deals with all these hotels. And let's see, I'm still digging. I'll probably call them tomorrow, probably. Okay, I got their manual. Let's look at their manual. Unreal. This really makes me mad. Oh my God. Okay, listen to this. They pay for a sponsor this event to come and talk to these people. That's not a conflict of interest. They're paying 25 to 35,000. And they have keynote sessions. They have brief remarks by your representative. Your 2-year complimentary 1-year membership for the Associate of Judge membership. They have logo listings and conference brochures. Yep, these are the people that are really worried about your kids. And $15,000 for the platinum event sponsor. Where's all this money go? Because I don't see this money coming in to have these families have lawyers to take care of their kids. We got the gold sponsorship, $10,000 to $17,500. Silver sponsor, $5,000 and $2,000 to $500 for corporate sponsor. Conference app sponsor, $6,000. Do y'all see how much money is in this? Tote sponsor. Yeah, you want to be on that little bag where they get all their goodies from all these people. $2,500 per conference. That's for one conference, but it was 2 conferences in this event, so it was $4,000. If you wanted your personalized notepad, it's $1,000 to sponsor that. Your conference tote insert, $750. Man, I'm in the wrong business. If you did an advertising page, $800. Conference program sponsor was $5,000. Unreal. This is unreal. And it was at Lois Coronda Bay, San Diego. Let's see if I can see any names that maybe will stick out for me. All right, here y'all go. Y'all ready for this one? These are their sponsors: Third Millennium Classrooms, Academy Schools. I'm not going to call them off, but this is going to let you know what's going on. American Drug Screen Corporation, American Trucking Association. Hey, buddies, I've already been with y'all on issue 1, where you want tort reform in all the states so you can run over people and not pay out. You're trying to buy our judges off and our lawyers and our police officers. Okay, we're not done. And Children's Behavioral Solutions, Children and Family Futures, Child Welfare Information Gateway sponsored this event. Got that one? Child Welfare Information Gateway. Then we've got Extract Systems, Family Works, Inc., and Center for Divorce Education, Federal Office of Child Support Enforcement. These are the sponsors of this National Council of Juvenile and Family Court, okay? And we have IBM Watson Health, Infax Incorporated, Interstate Commission for Juveniles, Judge Rottenberg Education System, Journal Technologies, Justin's Benefits, KidLink Treatment Service, Kids Peace, Kindle for At-Risk Kids, Life Lessons to Go, Mount St. Vincent, National Academies Press, I knew y'all were in this. Cost Association, National Council of Crime and Delinquency, National Judicial College, National Resource Center for Healthy Marriages and Family, Nevada Trucking Association, New Hope Treatment Centers. These are the ones that paid the big dollars to be a part of this. Office of Justice Programs, Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention, Our Family Wizard. I'm not calling all these out. I'm calling the main ones out. And Satellite Tracking of People. Satellite Tracking of People, LLC, was a sponsor. Foundation, Summit Academy, Texas Lawyers for Children, Tyler Technologies, University of Kentucky Center on Drugs and Alcohol Research, Management of Degree Program, the U.S. Department of State, in Westlove, Color and Culture, and Wolverine Human Services. That's your main sponsors. What do y'all think's going on here? I mean, what I just read to you, it sounds so innocent. No corruption here. Do these clowns really think that they're going to get by with this? Do they really think they're going to get by with this? No, you're not, because we're going to expose you. We're going to start calling you out. You're not real. You're a business. It's a membership organization. And you thought you had the power over us like you do, and you do not. You do not. This is a crime. You should be all in prison for doing this. You should be in prison. I mean, not those little nice jails that you contracted to your buddies. I'm talking about prison. I mean, maybe we should put you in the prison with, like we did the children that came over, like the one in Texas with the illegal immigrant children that's been separated from their families. There are like 20,000 people that have not been fingerprinted. These kids are around, sex offenders. They could be sex offenders or anything. We don't care about those kids. These people do not care about your kids. If they don't care about the illegal immigrants' children, they will put them in I'm talking about people that stay there when they're sleeping. People that watch them all the time. And if they don't care about those kids, you really think they care about your kids? They do not care about your kids. Do you understand me? When they take your kids away, it increases their times of dying 6 times when they go into foster care. That is not a safe environment. When they take your kids home, when they go into foster care, it increases their time 4 times of being sexually assaulted. I'm telling you that when they move a child out of your home, it increases their times of being sexually assaulted 4 times. If they go into a group home, it increases their times of being sexually assaulted 28 times. This is sickening. It is sickening. And I'm telling you, the Bible has warned us. He warned us and he warned us. And we failed. We failed at this, guys. And I don't know, it's really sad. It's really sad. It's really sad. So, all right, are y'all ready for the next one? Because we're not done. So, let's go to the next document I have for you. Hold on. My Facebook's going off like crazy. All right, so we're still talking about the National Council of Family, and I'm going to read something to you that you're going to see right now what I'm telling you is true. All right. You ready? So it's talking about Chief Judge Washington's confusion could reasonably extend to how trial court judges are supposed to contest. It's talking about the district. So this is what I'm going to read you this line, okay? The National Council of Juvenile and Family Court Judges, a membership organization of courts handling abuse, neglect, juvenile delinquency, and other cases, which provides technical, understand, that's not certain, assistance to judges nationwide, has issued guidance for permanency hearings that echoes the law in the District of Columbia. The council urges judges to make detailed writings, findings of facts, and conclusions of law, including, okay, it just said the National Council of Juvenile and Family Court Judges, a membership organization of courts handling abuse, neglect, juvenile delinquency, and other cases. There you go. It's right there. They are a membership organization. That doesn't sound like to me that's the government, that's the law of the land. I mean, just doesn't sound right. And then when they can have a conference, and they can have all these sponsors that I just gave you and all this money that's in here, you should be worried. You should be worried that these are the people that they're all talking to. I'm telling you, the corruption is right there in front of you. And you have to open your eyes, because they're going to continue to do these things. They're going to try to continue to take your kids away. They want you to be afraid. They do not want you to know these things. They don't want you to know that it's a screen. It's a movie theater. These are not real courts. These are fake. These are fake programs, and we fell for it. We fell for it. And unfortunately, that's what's sad, is there are so many people who have lost their kids, and there are so many people who have not had their children at home right now. There are so many people that are hurting because of the corruption and just evil. This is nothing but evil. And they have done it at the cost of the innocent. And, people have asked me, why is everybody starting to wake up? People are finally talking about it. Why is everyone waking up? Thank God everyone's waking up. And I'm going to tell you, I think it has to do with the children. God is always going to protect the children. And, the knowledge has been there. But when you put the whole armor of God, and that you will stand against the scheme of the devil, it comes to you, and people will start speaking. And I am looking at you. Hey, David. Go back. Okay. So the truckers have viciously attacked. So the truckers are attacking you in Fran right now because of what's going on, which would make sense. Which, I'm not saying all truckers, but, with the sex trafficking, they move these kids through military bases, police, and the trucking industry. That's why in Arkansas, the sex trafficking is such a hot commodity here, because the interstate, it's easy to move kids actually in the state of Arkansas. So, well, I'll probably be added to that list pretty soon too. I don't know, that's just crazy. The enemy is there. It's, the Bible tells you in 1 Peter, I think it's 5:8 maybe. He says, be sober-minded, be watchful. I think that's, the devil prowls around you like a roaring lion. And I think that's what's happened, that we were all scared because the devil came at us and said, if you speak against me, I'll come after your family, I'll come after your children, I'll kill you, I'll destroy you. And, that's what the Bible said to us, to be sober-minded and be watchful, because the devil prowls around like a roaring lion. But when you put the armor of God, you'll be able to stand against the devil. Remember that. Put the armor of God, and he protects you. And so, I agree, Linda. The days of shame are over. We are coming in an army, and I'm not your leader. All these other people, we're not your leaders. We are the same. We have the our leader is God, and that's just the bottom line. Is other day when I left the Capitol, I was absolutely drained. I said that today. I said I was so drained because of the emotion and of these people hurting, and I prayed all the way home. I prayed all the way home and said, God, please show me what the answers are. Show me what is going on here. Um, and the verse came to me, Ephesians, oh my gosh, it's Ephesians 6:12, where he talks about do not wrestle. I posted on my page earlier against the flesh and blood. And that's what we tend to do. That we sit there and we wrestle with each other, and that's not what he says. He says to go against the rulers, which your authorities, go against those people. And it's right there. The Bible has given us the tools to defeat this, to survive this. And we cannot go against the flesh and the blood. We have to go against the rulers. We have to go against these people who made you believe they were rulers. They had the authority over you. These people, that Child Protective Service is a private business. These people are not the authority. They do not have the authority over you. And you have to take your power back. Do you understand me? You have to be willing to get down and learn the paperwork. You need to reclaim your property. You need to file those affidavits, reclaim your property, protect your name, and stand on, your feet, and, protect each other, and go forward. And the thief comes to steal and destroy, and God came for life and for us to live abundantly. And that's where we have to go on this. And so I've always said that with my veterans. I've worked with a lot of veterans on PTSD, and that's actually kind of what brought me in with when I saw those families the other day. I was thinking about with my veterans that, the medicine only does so much. You can only do so much. You can only do so much counsel. And I always told them, I don't push my religion on you. You have the right to believe the God that you want to believe in. You have the right. That's not what I'm saying. But I can tell you, for me and my experience, that I believe, and this is what I know, that healing comes from God. And the true healing comes from God, and that is what I'm going to advocate, and that's what I believe in because I've witnessed it. I'm telling you, I have called out to God over my son when he was a baby, and I gave him, to God, and when my son was born, he was born in the NIC unit, and he had been in there for several days, still on about 100% of oxygen, and they were telling me that he was not doing well and things were not looking good. And at 2 in the morning, I went and prayed over my son in the NIC unit. I put my hands over him, and my prayer was, God, I cannot do this anymore. I am at my breaking point, and I give you my son. If it is your will to take my son, then I accept that. And I'm telling you, that was a moment for me that for my son, being in the hospital, I was at my breaking point, and then if it was God's will to take him, I was going to accept that. My son was not mine, he was God's. And so I left the room. I was staying at Baptist, and I came back at 5 o'clock that morning. And remember, that day I was told that he was not doing well and things weren't looking good. And I came back at 5 in the morning, and he was sucking a pacifier. It was a room full of doctors. And I said, what happened? And the doctor said, you tell us what happened. What did you do? Because there is nothing happened here medically. And you did something. Within 10 minutes of you leaving this room, he started improving. So what did you do? And I said, well, I gave him to God. And so, when people try to tell me I don't have the faith that you do, I don't believe in God like you do, I have to go by my experience. And I know that when I called out on God, and it was with my child, it was me letting go. Those, I think, was what we have to learn in life, is that when we let go and let God is when things happen. And so when I gave my son to God, guess what? It got better. And we came home 3 days later, and there was nothing wrong with my son. He is a football player. He is amazing. We didn't have, came on a heart monitor, but that was it. But he's healthy. Nothing's wrong with him. Great kid. I'm very proud of him. And so, when you let go and you pray, that's why I always say, if you tell me there's no God, I'm going to argue with you because of what I've experienced. It's what I've experienced. And, I don't know if maybe my testimony will lift some of you up who do not have your children at home tonight. But, what I'm hoping that if it does, that if you give your child to God, just trust God's will, and God is opening doors, and He's giving us the knowledge of how to bring these kids back home for you. He is giving us the knowledge, and we're working very hard to get the word out there to teach all of you what we're going to have to do, but and we're coming all together to make sure that we take care of each other. I always say, take care of your neighbors. Take care of your neighbors. If your neighbor comes knock on your door, go and help them, because you never know one day when you're going to need a knock on their door and you're going to need their help. So be the difference that you want to see in this earth. Do not depend on your government to be the difference. They failed us. They don't want it to be better. They need conflict. As long as there is conflict and we're divided, then they continue to survive. They continue to be the person they need to be. They do not need us to be together. They need us to be divided. So we have to come together. You and I may not agree on everything. I would hope not. That's what's so great, is that we don't have to agree on everything, but we can all come to the table and say, this is what I bring. This is what I bring. This is a trait that I have in me that I think is beneficial to you or beneficial to your cause. And put all politics aside. This is not a Republican matter. This is not a Democrat matter. This is human beings. This is children, okay? And so I don't want to hear that Trump did this, Obama did this, Republicans, the Democrats. No, this is God's children. This is your children. And so put everything aside, and let's come together. Let's come to the table. Let's teach each other what we have to do, and give your children to God. I didn't know that, that's what I believe is, give your children to God and something opens. And I can, tell you that I've experienced it. God opened doors for me a couple of weeks ago for me to help me with my children again. And I just had to have faith. I continue to trust God, and that's what you have to do. Trust God. And so I'll get off of that soapbox for you. But okay, trafficking. So let's go over one more thing that I want to cover with y'all. And remember IBM Watson. Remember the National Council of Juvenile and Family Court is a membership organization. Go to their Facebook page, ask them about it. You can tell them I sent you, I don't care. Remember they have 33,000 members, just kind of update you. And remember what I said. Martin Luther King says, our lives begin to end when you don't do anything. I always tell people, once you become aware and you know of this, then if you do nothing, you are part of it. You become part of the problem. And to me, I think you are part of the problem when you sit there and you know that children are being trafficked, children are being sexually assaulted. You know that 89% of these children in the Arkansas homes are not supposed to be there. If you can sit there at Christmas with your family and not say nothing, share a video, call your legislator, if you can't do anything, you should be ashamed. 89% of these kids should be home. They should be home today. And we're not going to go through this court system of let's hire an attorney, $30,000, and let me abuse my child 2 more years. Let me allow you to break my family. Let me allow this fake company to break my children. This company, this government that's fake. It's fake. Okay? And so you sit there and you be the difference. My children are here with me, okay? This is a fight that I have to take for my neighbor. I have to take my fight for my neighbor because I have the knowledge. I know what's going on, and I have to be willing to put the armor on and fight for them, and that's what I'm calling on you, okay? I'm calling upon you to do the right thing. I'm calling upon you to call the legislators out, call Child Protective Services out, and demand that these kids come home. Do you hear me? Demand that they come home. We're going to have to go through these affidavits. We don't sit there and ask them. We're telling them the show is over and that you're out of business. You're out of business. Go find your $100 billion through these dang sponsors that you got. Y'all can sit around a little table with your little $750 tote insert and $2,000 bag, and you can sit there and talk about how it's so great to break families on lies. But the show is over for us. We're going to continue to expose you, and your private business sucks. Your customer service sucks, and I wouldn't hire any of you to clean my toilets. I wouldn't. I wouldn't hire you to clean my commode. You're disgusting people. Disgusting. So, oh, well, thanks. I'm glad. And we're going to do an event in Fort Smith, and, um, you know, please continue to share your information with me. Give me your sources. I'll continue to research, and I'm going to continue to give you the information as I find it. And you know me, once you give me the information, I'll come and tell you. I have no problem, delivering it, and I don't mind raising heck. Y'all know that. And because I'm raising it for the right reasons. These are for the right reasons. This is why we do these things, is because we don't have an agenda. I don't get paid to do this. I do this because I know that this is what God laid on my heart. Several months ago in February, I told you a long time ago, if you watched my videos the last few months, that in February, God told me that, I need you to do this because it's going to take you here. And I had told my fiance that, when we were talking about it, I said, I don't know what this is about, but I know I have to do this to get where God needs me to go. And I've just been following that path. And I'm going to tell you, sometimes it's a little scary. And, but I've just trusted God, and He continues to open the doors for me all the time. He opens the doors to help me help you. And that's what we are. We're supposed to be disciples. God didn't say, go in your home, sit on your couch, play on Facebook all day, and never say anything. He said, go out and tell. And so, go out, deliver the good news. Deliver the good news that these kids can go home and that God has showed us the knowledge, okay? So, please get in touch with me, Candy. I just saw you on there yesterday. Sometimes it's better if you want to talk to me directly to send me a message, because sometimes I don't catch on all these messages. But Candy, please send me a private message so I can get in touch with you. Our next event is going to be in Fort Smith. Mandy is coming in this weekend for me. She and I are having some crash courses on some of the stuff that David has given us, and a few other people who have been so wonderful to share their knowledge and their sources with us. And we're going to be working Saturday and Sunday together, and we'll get the event booked in Fort Smith, and we'll have a panel of people. The families that have been going through this, we need you there. That's what's powerful. And we're going to start educating people, and let's heal. Let's heal each other's hearts. Let's be the vessel to make the world a little bit better. The enemy is hungry. He wants us to feed him with lacking knowledge. That's what the enemy likes. And once you have the knowledge, and when you trust God, He's going to give it to you. Okay, guys? So I hope all of you have an amazing night. And remember to put the whole armor of God on, because we've got a battle in front of us. And but we're going to win that battle. We already know what happens. We know who wins, and the devil doesn't win. So I'm going to end it like this, okay? I don't know if some of you caught other day that when we had the event at the Capitol that day, I put out our forum, and it said, today, the event at the Capitol, and it said, the devil whispered in my ear, you cannot handle the storm. And I whispered back, I am the storm. Okay? And so that is my message to you is that if you feel broken tonight, if you don't have your children tonight, if you are struggling with something else, I don't know what all of you have, but if you're struggling, the devil wants you to be beaten down, and he wants you to think that he is the storm and you don't have power. You need to whisper in your storm, I am the storm, okay? Be strong, be courageous, and be the difference. Good night, guys.